So this week we had some new supporters join us. So thank you. A special thank you to Neil and Danielle.
What's up, Neil?
What's up, Neil?
Danielle?
Neil and Danielle.
Yes. So thank you guys so much for joining our Patreon. And, we really appreciate it. So if you haven't joined our Patreon.
Neil and Danielle. What about Carmen?
Carmen joined the Discord, but she didn't show up on my list of people.
Well, that's impossible.
Maybe she has been a member for a while.
Maybe she's a spy. Here, I need to know, where in the world is Carmen?
That's funny. Maybe San Diego.
I've been waiting to do that. I'm not going to lie.
Hang on, let me see. Yeah, no, Carmen
just joined
on the 22nd. But she's, I think, on a trial basis.
Oh, that's why, yeah.
But her name didn't show up on my
I
thing.
think, are you missing Jamie as well?
I don't have a Jamie on my thing.
Okay. So when you need to go to audience and it sorts by join date. So we do have a couple of folks on a trial who, you got to wait for your shout out until you make it for real. So
is that why they're not showing up yet? Because it says it gives a list of new patrons in the last 30 days.
Possibly. There's a couple on here who are on their trial period. Carmen is one of them. So
there you go.
Sorry, Carmen, you got to wait for your trial to be over before you get your official welcome.
Yeah.
But Danielle and Neil are our newest small tacos. So
yay.
Thank you guys. Neil, Danielle. And so the free trial is basically, you put your credit card. It's kind of, we get you that way, You forget about it.
Hopefully you forget.
Well, anyway, let's do our surprise shot. This is for Jessica.
What's up, Jessica?
What's up, Jessica?
This was a specific request?
This is a request. You know what? We should trademark or we should copyright the surprise shot song. So that way when I sing it and YouTube is like, that's copywritten. No one else can copy it. But we can be like, bitch, it's ours.
Oh, shit. I wonder if someone could trademark that shit.
I think we got to look into how that works really quickly before somebody on our live chat does it before we do.
Somebody on there go trademark that.
No,
for us.
And sue us.
I need to trademark it. It's intellectual property.
Yeah.
Surprise shots. Surprise shots. We don't know what they are because they're a surprise. I realize that this camera is looking directly at me now, which is good. But now I feel like, I don't know, I'm more aware of it than I have been in the past 5 years. So
I always just watch the screen.
Well, I don't have
Oh, yeah, you can't really see it.
that luxury.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Ooh,
That was called a screaming orgasm.
what a name.
Yeah.
It was delicious.
Kahlua, vodka, Bailey's, and amaretto.
Yum.
And I have more of it.
It was good.
Well, let's take 7 more of these bitches.
Goes well with my protein shake,
It
actually.
does.
7 more shots. 7 more
I
shots.
don't know if I have seven more. I have
shots.
probably one more for each of us.
I haven't eaten anything today, so
Here we go. So, what is up, everybody? We are getting started, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, we're getting started. Let me just do a quick round of shout outs for everyone who has joined us on the live chat here on this beautiful Saturday. I say beautiful, it's cloudy, but it feels nice outside. So it's beautiful. Joanne, Natasha, Shram, Sable, Desiree, Brandon, Lauren. Thank you all for joining. I'll do my best to shout out newcomers as they come. And if you have trivia, let's not forget trivia. I have been slacking on that. I apologize. If you've got trivia questions and want to drop them in here, please feel free to do so. You'll get a point for your correct answer. And if you end up stumping someone, or the group that's on here, guess what? You get the point. So I am tracking our points, and I will also be posting some trivia questions just to make sure it's flowing, but y'all come up with better ones than me, honestly. So
also a very important announcement that today is the first day of fall, if you didn't know that already.
I made pumpkin bread yesterday.
Oh, you love good pumpkin
Love
items.
a good pumpkin bread. It's a healthy almond flour with some dark chocolate chips.
So I'm going to kind of go over what I did last time.
Okay.
We're talking about Richard Ramirez, and I'm going kind of in order. And unfortunately, he's going to get more and more satanic, which is not unfortunate, but we are would be the second murder. So he is just a stalker killer from now on. But you can really see in this story just how desperate he is to kill and to appease his God, which is
Satan.
No, last time we did the murder of Jenny Vinkow. You know what's sad about? So you remember, Nicole, another senior citizen murder?
Yeah.
And he snuck through the window, and we had that.
And this was what we know to be his second murder, but
yeah,
we don't know if there were others even before that. And there was only just recently one discovered to be like his, what we know to be documented as his first murder.
Yeah. So there was, in 2009, Jen, DNA came back and linked him to a murder, which is completely different from his MO. It was a murder of a 9-year-old Chinese immigrant.
Oh, no.
And she was hung from a spigot. The detective at the time said, if you could picture Christ on the cross, that's what she looked like. That was completely
And this was
different.
a 5-year-old girl or something like that?
Yeah, I'm going to kind of be controversial here because Richard Ramirez never admitted to that. He just said no comment. I'm not saying this goes on, but
But they found
I'm not a
DNA
conspiracy theorist.
or something
but
there.
I know, but let me just say something. All right.
They say they found the DNA.
When a serial killer is caught, especially if he's going to death row, he has nothing else to lose. Could a detective or some detectives go up and be like, hey, can you take credit for this murder here and we'll, I don't know, let you eat steak for a year or something? I'm not saying that's what happens, but could it? I don't know. I'd like to see proof that actually happened once. I definitely think somebody has thought of that. That sounds screwed up, right? But
I feel like there are more screwed up things that happen than that. I think because the families of victims, they obviously want justice for their loved ones, right?
Yeah,
and
so
if if you can't get an answer, I could see why maybe they would try to do that, but that's not really helping anyone.
It helps the family. It gives them closure.
But it doesn't really when you think about it.
As long as they don't know that it's not the truth, it gives them a little bit of closure. So, all right.
See, I'm sorry. I'm on my character trait thing. I'm a what is it? Something good, true good, or something. I'm the top
True
left.
Blood.
No.
So here's the thing. Like, is it better to, let's say your child is murdered. Is it better to always wonder who did it and never find any answers, or to finally find the answer and have proof?
I mean, getting closure is huge, but I don't know. I don't think that's what they were necessarily trying to do. They're testing if his DNA is found. It's kind of like,
yeah, but so was making a murderer.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Stephen Avery. Do we know any updates about that case, or is it just like he's pretty much just in?
They threw that DNA everywhere. Remember?
Yeah,
I think his DNA was found at the OJ crime scene. Honestly.
Wow.
Oh shit.
Lawful good. Thank you, Brandon. That's what I am. A lawful good. I took it because I thought that I might be a chaotic good.
What is this quiz?
It's kind of goes with D&D. They use like this character trait matrix.
Huh.
They use it, but it's used for more things. But like it checks where you are. It's a morality thing. So like there's lawful, chaotic, and what's the other one, Brandon?
Sexy, probably.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Lawful, chaotic, and,
Brandon, what am I?
And then there's good, neutral, and evil. No, good, neutral, and I don't know. Brandon, type it in the chat so that I can get the correct terms.
Don't tell him what to do.
Please, Brandon. He's our intern.
Brandon, you don't have to do that if you don't want to.
But it's a matrix. So there's like one, it matches up. There's 9 it's a 9 grid thing. So
box.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it.
Character alignment.
Since I know no one plays D&D here,
Brandon does.
Brandon does.
I think
Wolfie does.
I think this
That's
will
why
go
they're
over
answering
well.
this.
D&D is for the devil. Tonight we're going to March 17th, 1985. So this will be, let's call it the second round of murders. A third. Okay, yeah. This would be the third murder. Now remember the one that you were here for, Jen?
Mm-hmm.
That was
a double murder.
It was the first one where he was like he put pentagrams or something up to show that he was worshiping the devil.
Mm-hmm. But that wasn't his first. That was just the first one that you went over.
Yeah.
But chronologically, it was not his first.
Yeah, and the reason I did that is because he's known as the satanic killer, so I kind of wanted the pentagram in there to kind of make all the episodes kind of flow. Because now you can see kind of what he's building up to. And I haven't researched everything yet. I'm going case by case.
Are you still using newspapers?
Yeah, I'm using newspapers, yeah. And the book, The Night Stalker by Philip Carlo, but this book is the Magnum magnum opus of Richard Ramirez. And that's because he actually interviewed the guy for however long, like multiple interviews, months, whatever, years probably. Tonight we're going to March 17th, 1985. This guy is still robbing. He is now increasing his robberies during the murders. We're covering a serial killer that is a robber, a burglar. So he's not stopping his full-time job. He's still breaking into 2 to 3 homes a night.
His full-time job. I know that you said that last time, but it just kind of blows my mind.
That is his full-time job.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's just kind of like...
So if we go back to like Gary Ridgway.
He was a painter.
He was killing, and then he would go to work and paint these trucks. Okay, like Richard Ramirez doesn't stop his full-time job when he's killing, which is, it literally goes hand in hand with his full-time job because he's breaking in the house anyway.
Right.
He's just, I think I'm in the mood to kill. But that's how he feeds himself. At this point, he's on a cocaine binge. He has a small studio hotel room. He is, when he's not stealing, and he does that 2 or 3 times a day, he breaks into 2 or 3 houses a day to steal and fence items for money. He sits in his studio room, shoots cocaine, watches MTV, listens to heavy metal music, and he fantasizes about violent sex.
Mm-hmm.
He's barely eating, he's barely sleeping, and he's completely not showering anymore. In fact, that is going to come up in the courtroom as well because people can recognize this guy by his stench. He's a stinky, stinky boy.
Ew.
Ugh, that's gross.
Yeah, it does.
The 2 or 3 burglaries per day, he is thinking that he is not getting caught. And the reason why is because demons are protecting him. So you got to keep in mind, this guy is living it. He really believes this. It's not just a show for this guy. When he kills, he sacrifices. And that's going to become more evident as we go on through the episodes. But you'll see this guy believes what he believes that Satan has his back. Can you read a quote from him to start us off in the quiz?
For a true killer, a good murder is like a good meal. You want to make it last and get the most out of it.
That is Richard Ramirez. On March 17th, 1985, when we're starting, this was a special day for Richard Ramirez because he finally bought something he's been wanting to buy for a long time. He bought a .22 caliber pistol. Can you tell me why he chose a .22 caliber over any other gun like a .45? A .22 caliber is small.
Easy to carry and not get noticed.
Yeah, I haven't seen his. I don't know what kind of revolver it was, but I'm sure it wasn't, the size wasn't that big of a difference. The reason that you would shoot a .22 in this case is because, and he knows this, he wants to shoot point blank range in the head. And .22 caliber is smaller. Mm-hmm. And it has less projection. So when it goes through the skull, it's not going to exit the skull. That bullet is going to stay in the brain. And as the bullet enters the skull, it's going to bounce around because it ricochets off the bone. And it's basically, if you shoot someone in the head, it's going to cheese grate that brain.
Oh, that's much more sinister than what I thought.
That's why he chose a .22 caliber over any other caliber, because he knows he's the night stalker. When he breaks into someone's house, he takes his shoes off so he doesn't get hurt. He creeps around. If he's going to shoot someone, they're not going to know it. And that barrel is going to be 18 inches away from their head anyway. He ain't going to miss, and it's going to go in there and cheese grate their brain. That's what he wanted, and that's what he did.
Yikes.
So I want to say that here's something you may have never thought of, but Brandon,
there's a lot of things I've never thought of before on this podcast.
Brandon, you might like this. The M16 rifle, which is now technically everyone uses the AR rifles, but the M16 was issued to the U.S. Army. Mm-hmm. The M16, what was great about it is it wouldn't usually kill the enemy, but they did that on purpose. They could have had a more powerful rifle. Why would the Army, the U.S. Army, not want to kill the enemy? And it was very thought out and very brilliant.
Was it so
Does anyone want to take a guess?
So that they can learn their secrets and they can because isn't torture worse than killing? Because you could.
But Jim, we don't torture people. What the fuck?
No.
What the fuck?
I'm talking about like if you have an M16, you like as opposed to killing the enemy with a more powerful weapon, if you maim them, or like then isn't that like worse because you can keep them alive and extract their secrets from them or something?
But the reason that the M16, they thought, okay, let's not kill the enemy is because it takes out two enemies at the same time. Can you tell me why? All right, you're on a battlefield. And the enemy's coming forward. If you shoot the M16 and shoot someone and they die, they're done. They're off the battlefield.
Right.
But if you maim them or injure them, they're down and their buddy is dragging them away and bandaging them.
Mm-hmm.
How smart is that?
That's actually pretty brilliant.
Right? You're getting two with one.
Well, I mean, you have, but that's why we have medics, though. Someone that isn't like fighting, but is there to help, like on the scene, right? I don't know anything about war, so I mean, take my comments.
You have one or two medics. If your buddy is going down, now this isn't like when I was overseas, we had one medic, and then everyone was kind of trained on how to do little stuff like tourniquets and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if someone goes down right beside me, I'm going to tend to them, at least tourniquet them.
From the Night Stalker, he stole a car from a gas station while the owner went in to pay for gas. He immediately got on the Los Angeles freeway system with the sole intention of finding a victim, killing a human being that he decided what is the greatest drug of all, the ultimate high.
So at this point, he's like, God, how did I not know about this before? So he's like 26 years old, and he knows that his older cousin, talked to him about killing in Vietnam, and he seemed to enjoy it. But now that he's had a taste of it, oh my God, he loves it. The blood, how warm it is, a little salty in your mouth. Oh, that iron, you can smell it. He is obsessed with it. That's all he's thinking about. And what else goes with that? The heavy metal music that goes with it so well.
Yeah.
I don't know about the MTV, but so March 17th, 1985, wearing all black and an AC/DC baseball cap.
He really loves that band. Like he is a big.
They're all right.
I like Thunderstruck. It's a good workout song, you know.
I had a phase in high school where I liked AC/DC.
I do like some AC/DC, but he's like in their fan club.
When I was in high school, I had not just AC/DC, but it was like rock and roll. I had like a rock and roll phase. Like it was, I mean, I still like rock and roll, but like that was my personality.
Emo for life.
No, not emo.
Yeah, I was not a big emo person.
Newfound Glory.
No,
Mm-mm.
I really didn't like them.
Not that I didn't like them, but I didn't really listen to them.
I didn't like his voice.
Well, you know what? They won't listen to you either.
Whoever the singer is,
They probably don't listen to me, so that's
was
fine.
not a fan.
I don't know anything by them that I can think of.
So you're just gonna shit on them?
I didn't shit
I'm just
on
saying,
them.
they weren't for me.
Who are you? Blippy?
I was an alt
No.
rock
You Blippy? You gonna shit on them?
person,
Oh, no.
which you know, Jimmy World, favorite
Mhm.
band. Something corporate. Oh my god, loved all them.
See,
yes.
like I was
little like pop punk maybe.
Green Day was my jam. I love
I
Green
mean,
Day.
I did like Green Day. I'm not gonna lie.
That was my jam. But I also kind of like older rock when I was in high
like
school.
classic
Like the
rock.
Beatles. When I say I went through a Beatles phase, like I still love the Beatles. You can shit on them what you want
They're
to.
fucking terrible.
Whatever, John. Like that was when I was so into the Beatles when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I still enjoy their music, but it's not like as much as I don't want to say
because you probably realize how much they suck ass.
Anyway,
All black and an AC/DC ball cap, Walkman in his ears, AC/DC Highway to Hell, blazing. Now, AC/DC, if you didn't know, stands for Antichrist Devil Child.
what?
it does not.
No, but when this story came out, because you'll see the AC/DC is big in the story, and they got banned from a lot of venues because of Richard Ramirez. The Christians came out and said that it standing for Antichrist Devil Child.
Aren't they? Isn't AC/DC the brothers like initials? Angus and
It's anus, Jen. Young anus. That's what it is. Young anus. That's how you would say it in Chinese because they put the last name first. His name is Anus Young, but in Chinese it'd be
Anus?
Angus.
It's anus. All right.
This is how fake news begins.
All right. He stole a car from a gas station, and this guy is on the Los Angeles freeway, and he's high on coke. He's got his Walkman in his ears, and unfortunately he stole some little blue Toyota, but he probably thinks he should have been in a Camaro. But anyway, he is just cruising, and he's looking for some killing, and he sees an opportunity on the freeway. Ladies, this is why you need to tint your windows, because he looks over and he sees this lady right here. Can you describe her for us?
Fair skin, dark hair, eyes, eyebrows, very like 80s poof, coif. So she's probably in her 20s in that photo.
Maria Hernandez, from the book Petite, Attractive Brunette, Large Round Eyes, Clear Olive Skin.
Oh, I thought that was the name of the book title for a second because you were like, from the book. And then you said that. I thought that was the book title.
It's a long title.
He saw her on the freeway and followed her home into a suburb of Rosemead. So let's go there right now. She lived at the condominium on Village Lane, and she lived with a roommate. So let's go there right now. 8510 Village Lane. I'm going on the Google Earth. What was the address, Jen?
Village Lane.
What was the number address?
8510.
No. All right, here we go. 8510. And I haven't been here yet. Village Lane. Here we go. So he follows her home right here. And I guess it's still up. So this was in 1985. You guys get that right?
Mm-hmm.
I was not going to let us see the front of it. But we can kind of see it right here. So a little condominium. Pretty nice, actually.
Mm-hmm.
What is this, stucco or something?
Yeah.
So it's a townhome, which is very risky. He's following her to a neighborhood. That's how obsessed this guy is with killing. He finds an opportunity and he doesn't care if there's risk involved. He's very risky with this stuff. What are you smiling at?
Me?
People can't see your face, Jen, the way you're sitting.
Because of the mic?
Yeah.
Jen, can you please act like you've done this before?
Well, I told you that the mic was in my face the last time, and I can't.
That's good.
Why don't you move the mic? Jen, this is how you're supposed to be. You're way too far. You know this thing moves, right? Everyone else is doing it correctly. I don't know.
Now you're good. We can see your face.
What the fuck?
I need another beer in a minute, but let's go. I didn't mean to rush you. I'm sorry. I don't know why that came out that way.
So he didn't know this, but he has hit the jackpot. He followed this lady home, and she arrived at this condominium on Village Lane, and she shared this condo with a roommate. This roommate is Dayle Osaki, and Dayle is Dayle. Dayle. And this is her right here, if you can describe her.
Also a young lady. She looks maybe also in her 20s. Dark hair, Asian features. White teeth.
So this is actually her condo. She is almost 35. She actually celebrates her birthday in 2 weeks. She had put all of her money in savings for years to buy this condo. And she just found out this day she's getting a promotion. She is a Los Angeles County traffic advisor. She works with the traffic unit.
Cool.
And she just found out she's getting a promotion. She's about to turn 35, and she just bought this condo, which she's been saving for several years.
From the LA Times, August 25th, 1985, it just made her happy to make other people happy, recalls Dale's sister. When she went to the zoo, she bought everybody panda pins. When she bought a gigantic bag of popcorn on sale, she divided it into 20 small containers to give it to friends.
Is that like one of the bags of popcorn that's like 4 feet long? You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
They sell it at the grocery store sometimes. It's definitely not as good as movie theater popcorn, but I feel like it would get stale. Why do they sell it like that?
I don't know.
Maria pulls into the garage, and this is brand new condo, latest amenities. The garage has an opener. She opens it from her car. The door goes up, and she pulls her car in there. That's when Richard Ramirez, about a half a block away, who has a perfect view of inside the garage, can see that there's 2 cars in there. That's when he gets excited because, whoa, there's 2 cars. That's 2 victims. This is going to be great. This was about 11 p.m. at night when she pulls in. Maria Hernandez, she was coming from her boyfriend's house. At this point, she parks her car and she has to walk around Dale's car in order to get to the door, which is locked. So inside the garage, there's a door that leads into the washing and drying room, just like our house. And that's always locked. So she has to unlock it and then go in. At this point, Richard Ramirez, and you can tell exactly how risky he's being, he gets gets out of his blue Toyota, the stolen one, and he briskly walks towards that garage. When she just got out of her car, Ramirez is walking, and at the same time he reaches in his waistband and he pulls out that 22 caliber revolver. The door was halfway down. Richard actually has to duck under it. Now, at this point, Maria Hernandez is at the door. She walked around her roommate's car and she is fiddling with her keys. Which one is it? And unfortunately for her, the deadbolt and the regular doorknob was locked. So she has to unlock both of them. She just put the key in the deadbolt. Click! That's unlocked. Okay, good. Now, she has no idea that this man had just ducked under the door as this garage is closing and is 8 feet behind her at this point. She has no idea. So she pulls the key out, finds the other key for the doorknob, and inserts it into the lock. At this point, Richard Ramirez ducked under. He barely made it, Indiana Jones style. He actually tipped his hat, his what hat?
AC/DC.
His AC/DC baseball cap, and it fell off his head. That sound of the brim of that hat hitting the cement floor is what caused Maria to look back. That hat was also found at the crime scene. Another one of Richard's many mistakes, along with his fingerprints, because he kept taking off his gloves. He left his AC/DC hat there. Maria looked back at this point. She is still fiddling with this bottom lock, and she hears that brim of that hat hit the pavement, hit the cement, and make a thump sound. Just if you imagine just putting your hat and just dropping on the floor, whatever sound that is. Very kind of light sound, but it shouldn't be there, whatever it is, unless something fell.
Right.
So what does she do? She looks back. And when she looked back, Ramirez was about 2 to 3 feet away from her with a 22 barrel revolver pointed directly at her forehead. So that's the first thing. She hasn't even seen this guy. She had no idea she was being followed. She just came back from her boyfriend. She is thinking of what she's going to do tomorrow. What time should she wake up? Should I, am I visiting my parents tomorrow? Like, what should I eat for breakfast? Like, she's in her own world. And all of a sudden, not only is there a man in the garage, but there is a pistol pointed at your face, and you can actually see down this barrel. I mean, think about it. Like your life is completely, just crazy. I mean, it's right at her head.
You know what's kind of crazy to think about when they say your life is flashing in front of your eyes in that moment? Could you imagine that currently what we're doing is actually just one of us having a flashback, a memory about what's going on in our lives before we die? Isn't that wild?
What? Are you about to die right here? Are you going to stroke out right here on the podcast?
No. That's not what I'm saying. Like, could you imagine that whatever moment you're in right now is just a replay of the moment that you remember that is in your flashback before you die?
Oh, so you're going to remember us.
This.
And
this moment.
Yeah.
And you kind of think that you're going to be in our flashbacks too, don't you? You think that.
It's just got awkward.
That would be the longest you're going to remember this moment. That's going to be the longest motherfucking flashback.
How are you supposed to know what you're going to remember?
I feel like now that we're having such an in-depth discussion about this being in her flashback that it will be.
I'm going to be so fucking pissed if this moment is in my flashback. I'm going to fucking haunt you, man.
I mean, I feel like you already plan to do that regardless if you die before I do, so...
He's looking forward to it.
I am. If I die, she ain't getting remarried. I'm gonna make her life a living hell.
I feel like this is on his ghost bucket list. Number 1, make sure Nicole doesn't get remarried. Number 2, make sure Jen is scared shitless every single day of her life.
Yeah, pretty much.
And but guess what? Now that I know that, I'm just gonna be like, hey, John.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna be like, hey, Murphy. That's fucked up. I took it to another level. I'm talking about murder here, so can you read
I don't know why you hate my dog so much.
He loves all animals. animals.
Except for Murphy.
No, God, please don't. No, she screamed, automatically raising her hand.
Richard Ramirez isn't going to fire a shot until a certain time.
What times? 6.
Can you tell me when he is going to fire this revolver in her face?
After 6 minutes and 66 seconds.
He's waiting. She has enough time to say, no, God, please don't. Are you going to shoot me? Why is he waiting? He's still walking towards her, getting a better shot, getting a close headshot. But at this point, he's still waiting for something to happen. He's waiting for that garage door to close.
Oh.
Because remember, it's still going down. He ducked under it, and now he's walking right up to her. This is all within seconds. So imagine you pulling imagine you pulling your car into the garage. You get out, you walk to the door, and you know that little button is right there, right by the door usually. You press the button, and while you're doing the keys to unlock the door, that thing's going down. Takes about 8 seconds for that thing to goes down.
Yeah.
So she's tipped off now because his hat fell and made a thump, and he's saying nothing at all. He's just walking towards her. Now he's 2 feet away from her, right in her face with this revolver, and he's waiting until the garage door closes all the way. That's for soundproofing, right? Because if he shoots when the garage door's down, the neighbors aren't going to hear it. This is a condo. There's like condos back to back.
Got it.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
So, nuts. This probably felt like an eternity for her. And as soon as that garage door hits the bottom, it kind of rumbles like ours does. Bang! Right in her face. 22 caliber right in the face. She's looking at him, and this bullet right in her face. A lot of garages do this, but as soon as the door hits, the lights automatically shut off, which is kind of telling because she's now shot and the lights in the garage also cut off, right? What do you guys think? But that may be lucky for her. Because let's travel back a few seconds ago when Nicole read that she's saying, oh God, no, and raising her hand in front of her face. And he's waiting for that door to hit the bottom, boom, and then the lights cut off. He shoots, but now the lights are off. He had no idea that when she raised her hand up, she ripped those keys out of the door, and one key on there, the police will see, deflected that small bullet. It didn't hit her face. The key, she put it in front of her face instinctively, and the bullet hit the key, and Richard Ramirez does not know that because it's dark.
Dang.
So what does she do?
Runs away?
No, she gets on the ground and plays dead.
Oh, that was smart.
Well, I'm not saying she's going to make it out. I'm just saying this is what happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, still smart.
But as of now, she has a fighting chance. He thinks that she's dead. It is completely dark inside this garage. He actually kicks her to move her body over. He's going to come back to her, of course, but there's someone upstairs. He knows that because there's two cars in the garage. So he's got to take care of whoever's upstairs first, then come back and have some fun with Maria. She's playing dead. She still has a fighting chance. Let's see if she can make it. Crazy, right?
I feel like she makes it out.
Upstairs, the roommate hears the gunshot, and the first thing she did, I mean, obviously, she freezes. What the fuck was that? And then she can hear this man's footsteps coming up the stairs. It's a one story, but the stairs from the garage to the...
Right.
She hears the footsteps, and she jumps behind the kitchen countertop. There's a little island in the kitchen, has a little countertop, and she's hiding behind that. So this is very stressful for her right now.
Sure.
I mean, she has no idea what happened. She hears definitely a gunshot because that wasn't Maria's car backfiring. And that doesn't sound like her footsteps at all. It sounds more manly of a footstep, you know, coming up the stairs. She hides behind the counter, and she's now freaked out, praying, not to make it out per se, but to pray that this man didn't see her just duck behind the counter, because as soon as he walks in, she ducks down. Unfortunately for her, he did know she was behind the counter. He's walking slowly through the home, knowing where she is, but he is walking slowly, pretending not to. She's behind this counter, and
he's like playing with her.
He's playing with her.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, those footsteps stop, and it's just like a horror movie.
Yeah, it is.
Like, what do you do at that point? Do you
stay hidden? I guess. Hope you have a weapon or something you can use as a weapon.
Right.
Yeah. And I didn't mean mean that to victim blame or anything. I'm saying, like, this is what made me think of. But she was behind the counter. He knew she was there. The footsteps stop. She inches up, so her eyes are above the horizon, and she sees that gun pointing at the exact spot, waiting for her to do that. The only comfort in Dayle's story here is that the medical examiner would say that she died instantaneously. Can you read from the Night Stalker?
From the Night Stalker, just as she appeared at the top of the counter, he fired, shooting her squarely in the forehead, knocking her to the ground. A bullet hole the size of a dime, immediately swelling, turning purple, spurting a finger of blood.
So she died instantly. When the medical examiner opened the skull, he found just what I told you earlier, massive brain damage, because that 22 slug was still inside. And it, quote, distorted from bouncing throughout the skull, hitting the backside, the posterior, the anterior, boom, 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 crisscrossing. Your brain is that thing, the jello in the middle, and it's just ripping through it like a wrecking ball.
Yeah.
And it's just making things all twisted up, and that's it.
Oh.
That's why he wants to use that 22 caliber, because you can actually survive if it just goes through and through. And he knew that. So from the state of California versus Richard Ramirez, Joseph Cohen, MD, autopsied the body and said there was stripling to the skin as a result of a close-range shot less than 18 inches from the barrel of the firearm to the skin. So he was 18 inches leaning over that counter waiting for her to come up. I mean, anyone would have done that. He was toying with her at that point. That barrel was right where he knew that she would come up after a moment. You know, at this point, he hears some frantic footsteps. And was that the garage door that just opened again? Oh my God, there's no way that this chick in the freaking garage is alive. I shot her right in the face. He runs out the front door, and guess who he spots running, screaming?
Who?
Do you not know for real?
No, I do know.
Oh, who is it?
It's the victim, Maria.
He is shocked to see Maria running outside through the alley screaming. Holy shit. This is before midnight. There's most likely people still awake, and she had definitely seen my face because my hat fell off and I thought she was dead. Oh, please don't kill me. She pleaded. She's ducking behind this Volkswagen Bug, and he begins walking over to her. Now, this is in the middle of the street. She is pleading, screaming, please don't. He pulls up this gun and he's pointing it right at her, walking towards her. Clear as day, perfect shot. She is ducking behind, and he knows that he's got to actually shoot her because that bullet's not going to make it through that Bug. Those things are built very solid.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why Ted Bundy drove it.
He is literally 4 feet away from her at this point. He's aiming right at her head. You bitch. He is just so fucking livid. And he starts to squeeze that trigger, and all of a sudden, he sees a light come on from one of the neighbors.
Uh-oh.
Shit, the fuck? He looks to his left, and there's another light. Because he's in the middle of the street. There's condos on each side.
They're wondering what the commotion is outside.
What's the commotion?
Right.
A light comes on, another light comes on. Shit, is someone coming out the door?
Uh-oh.
He sees the window blind pulled. Someone's looking. Shit, the neighborhood's up. Should he take the shot or not? Shotornot.com. Should he take this shot?
Shotornot.com. That was funny. Does pleading, like, do you think that's actually worked? Like pleading with a killer that has a gun pointed at your head? Do you think that anyone has ever had that moment of their conscience being like, yeah, they're pleading for their life. Like, you shouldn't kill them.
Yeah, it works. Sometimes, I mean, it depends on who's killing you.
What their reason for killing is, I think.
Yeah.
If the motive isn't just to kill, right? If it was like an accident, like a robbery gone wrong or something like that, I think it'd be worth it.
You don't want to look in someone's eyes when you kill them. Unless you're me. That's the first place I look. Yeah, you gonna cry, bitch?
Maybe.
Not bitch. Like, I'm talking about overseas killing tally.
I know.
Well, I'm saying.
But even still, you don't mean that.
I do mean that. You don't want to look in someone's eyes when you're shooting them.
Yeah, I know. And you said you do, is what was calling you out.
I know I do. I'm just kidding.
Exactly. You don't.
He's at a standstill. What's he gonna do? What is he gonna do? He could easily kill her right now.
He's gonna run.
Thinking he already killed her, surprised to see her alive, he lowered his shaggy head and, still pointing the gun at her, hurried back to the stolen car, got in, and took off, letting Marie Hernandez live, creating the first witness.
You done fucked up, AA Ron.
This guy had really fucked up at this point because she's going to go to multiple police lineups.
Yep.
And no, it's not him. No, it's not him. No, it's not him. He hadn't been arrested yet.
Yep.
As soon as he is arrested, that's the guy. That's the guy.
Is this particular case, is this closer to his capture?
No.
Oh, really?
His capture's
Okay.
still a year away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dang, that's a long time
Yeah.
for someone who has been witnessed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, she's still alive, you know. But I would never ever throw that key away.
Yeah, I would make that into a piece of jewelry, honestly. I would
You
make
could
that into a necklace.
Honestly, you could probably if you tried to auction it off, she could probably make millions off.
No, I mean, think about what she's going through. I don't know. I haven't seen the interview from her, but her best friend and roommate is dead, and she probably went through survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
You know, we could say she's lucky, and yeah, she is, but
Blessed
at the same
is
time,
more like it.
is the same time, like she, you know, she's probably going through a lot, you know.
For sure. And I'm not suggesting that she do that. I'm just saying if she did, she probably could. That was like a complete role reversal there. Did you notice that?
It was.
That was weird. Give me my point of view back.
Okay, hey guys, I was gonna say something mean, but I'm not.
Go ahead, say it.
No,
I wanted to
I'm
say
not
it.
gonna say
Don't.
it. No, I'm not gonna say it.
Don't do that. Don't provoke each other for being snappy.
At this point, he also just realized a huge mistake. He left his AC/DC hat.
Oh, shit. Everybody knows he's a fan of AC/DC now.
Well,
That's
Can't-
nothing to be
can't
ashamed
hide
of back
that
then.
anymore.
from the Los Angeles
It's not
Times.
like it was a Nickelback hat.
Yeah, that's true.
From the Los Angeles Times, March 12th, 1986. I heard a noise from behind me, Hernandez, 30, testified. I turned around to see what it was. I saw a man. He was pointing a gun at me. He started walking towards me. She said the man said nothing at all, but pointed the gun, quote, right up at my face. He pointed it in my face and shot me. I put my hand out for protection. Her instinctively putting her hand in front of her face and holding those keys. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ. And it's not only that. It's not only the fact that the key saved her. It's not only that fact. It's the fact that the garage door, which took 8 seconds to go all the way down, had an automatic light switch.
That turned on when the door closed?
That turned off when the door closed. It's on when the door is coming down, and then as soon as it hits the ground, automatically that light
Shuts off.
leaving him not being able to see the result of what he just did. Thinking that he just shot her square in the face. He's going to come back for her later.
Is he? Like,
What?
actually?
No, he's referring to what he just talked
No,
about.
I mean, like, I would be, so anytime we've ever talked about, like, God, if anyone ever were to break into our house or, you know, anything like that, you would be always afraid of the person
returning.
coming back. I would imagine this is something she is thinking about. And I was curious if he ever did actually try
probably.
to come back.
No, he didn't. No, if someone breaks into this house, they're going to be a
They ain't
permanent.
leaving,
They're
yeah.
a permanent roommate.
They ain't actually.
Barbara?
leaving.
And I'm a type of a guy that would keep a trophy too. So I'm gonna have that
Stop
guy's.
that. You should not say this publicly.
Can we just like commemorate the Barbara incident? It's probably about 5 years ago now.
She
Yeah.
heard a shot, fell to the ground, and felt a quote cross between pain and heat on my right hand. I fell to the ground behind the door. It did break her finger, her knuckle actually, her middle finger knuckle shattered.
Wow.
She had to have surgery, but oh my god.
But she didn't lose the finger.
No, it was just the
That's a mark.
force. That's how much force even that small 22 has. I mean, when it's right in your face, and she didn't scream. She just played dead, and it saved her
Good
life.
for her.
Saved her
Damn.
life.
Is she still alive today?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow. That's
So
great.
there's I guess Netflix did a Richard Ramirez thing, and she was interviewed. I didn't
Oh.
watch it, but can you read the State versus
From the state of California versus Richard Ramirez, at 12:20 a.m. on March 18th, 1985, Detective Gilbert Carrillo responded to the scene. He observed a blue baseball cap with the letters AC/DC on the floor of the garage. He tested the garage door opener at the condominium. 8 seconds elapsed from the time the door closed until the light went out. A second garage light above the appliances was not on while he was present.
The lucky 8 seconds. Not only did she survive, but now, this early into the game, we have this.
Kinda looks like him, ish, loosely.
Yeah, kinda.
Now, it all happened really quick.
Right.
Well, yeah, because the light went out.
This is from the LA Times, but it says, he preys mainly on the most vulnerable, children, women living alone, elderly couples. Most often, he creeps through unlocked windows and doors in the pre-dawn hours, attacking while his victims sleep.
Scary.
Shit. He let her get away. But all right, it's important to remember right now what a sexual killer is and what it is not. Because sex means different things to different people.
Right.
Sex is a blanket term. He is now getting back on the San Bernardino freeway and he is sexually charged because he knows he just shot one victim right square between the forehead and she's dead. He knows that.
And that is what has aroused him.
Exactly. For this killer, the sexual part isn't having sex with the corpse or anything, which he does, but that's like an afterthought on most of the murders. The arousal comes from the killing, the blood, the seeing up close, the blood, the smell of that iron, the warmness of it, the suffering.
So he's just a necrophiliac that also kills.
He's turned on by it for sure.
No, he's just turned on by the killing. He doesn't always have to rape his victims
or the corpse. Like he has raped them while they are alive.
In order to be aroused, he has to kill them, right?
Sex is just whatever feels good to him. He loves the smell and the sight of human blood. That's what arouses him. He doesn't care about raping or anything else. Just shooting dayle in the head, he is now sexually charged, giving him what he needed. He didn't even care that he let the victim go because he's already got what he needed
to kill.
He fulfilled his sexual fantasy. No ejaculation, no semen or anything. He is sexually fulfilled from that, which is weird to think about.
So he doesn't need to finish to be considered a sexual killer, even though he gets sexual pleasure from the smell of blood and from killing.
Well, hang on. I think
is there a term for like someone that is for that? Like for
I think there is, yeah.
Like not hemophiliac because that's hemophilia, which is a different thing, but like heme something is blood, right? So like is there a name for that? Like
He-Man.
I don't know. No, that's the action figure with the Skeletor. But like I don't need to know, but I'm also curious.
So from the book by Philip Carlo, since it's relevant, the detective that's going through this had went to a criminal investigation course taught by a retired FBI agent who taught him about sexual serial killers. And he said the following, I'm going to read this verbatim. Professor Monroe taught Carrillo never to take the obvious for what it seemed when it came to killers. That to a serial murderer, just the act of killing was itself sexual. He told Carrillo, quote, if you go to a murder scene and the killer took a dump there, most guys would just say, hey, look, the pig took a shit. But you must realize that by doing that, the killer is talking to you, telling you sex was a part of why he's killed, and aim your investigation toward a sex offender. Remember, sex is whatever feels good. So, if a killer breaks in and he just takes a doo-doo, that may have been all he needs. He doesn't. So there's been cases that we've done where the killer doesn't even want to touch the body. I can't remember specific names, but I know we've done a lot. Like they get off just by seeing it. They don't even touch it.
Yeah, we have definitely covered one like that. And I can't remember who.
With this guy, he's getting off by seeing the blood. The actual act of killing makes him get off, fulfills him sexually. Now he's still, I don't mean to be crass.
Is it the blood or is it the act of killing?
Jen, I don't know. You just ask him. Same
I can't.
thing.
He's dead, isn't he? Didn't he just die?
Now, I don't want to be crass here, but with this guy, we know after this, if you're a guy, you get blue balls. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be crass or anything, but you have to release. So we know that this guy actually, after all of this, multiple times, he would go to a prostitute, get a hand job, be done, drop her back off. That's it. None the wiser. He just killed someone. He still got blood on him, and he would get a hand job from a prostitute, and boom, back home watching MTV.
It's interesting to me that he has his victims, gets off, but then with a prostitute or a sex worker rather, and he lets the sex worker go and doesn't try to
Kill her.
He doesn't want to kill a prostitute. He doesn't. That's not what he's doing.
Thing.
He's a stalker. He likes to kill. When he walks in, except for this case, as you'll see when he climbs to the window,
he's climbing through your window, snatching your people up.
He takes his shoes off. He's a stalker. He's that cat, that black cat that you can't hear coming up. Because in most of the victims, they don't even know he's there. They don't even wake up. That gun is pointed right to their head and shatters their brain. So at this point, he's getting back on the San Bernardino freeway and he accomplished his mission. He is just feeling sexually aroused, but oh man, it'd be so good to keep it going. Fuck. Oh, I love this violence. Oh man. So he's back on the freeway and he spots another female. This is right after he just shot this woman in the head and let a witness go. And now he spots another female driving. Can you describe her?
A young lady who may be a model from this photo. I don't know. It's a very great headshot.
I can't see.
And she looks Asian descent, but very like maybe early 20s, like kind of in this similar age bracket of the other two roommates that we were just talking about.
The important thing from this, this story reading this made me want to go get your windows tinted.
Aren't they?
No. What?
No?
What about my windows?
No, I'm talking about hers.
Oh. I'm just a casualty at this point.
No, I mean, think about it, you ladies out there. This is the first killer we've ever covered that saw someone as a victim driving and was like, wow, she's hot. Let me follow her. I mean, holy shit. Maybe you should think about getting your windows tinted. This is 31-year-old Veronica Yu, Y-U. Her real name is Sai Lian Yu. She is Taiwanese, and she was driving back. This is 20 minutes later.
Wow.
After he still got the blood on him. He's still sexually charged. The police aren't even at the other scene yet. They're not even there yet. The ambulance isn't even there.
Do you think it had more to do with the fact that he was sexually charged on the one victim, or him being upset that he didn't
kill the second?
Yeah,
he was just
fired up.
He's like, I would almost consider this guy a spree killer.
Okay.
At some point, because he
a spree / serial killer.
Well, I think the reason he stops after this and takes a little break is going to become obvious. But Veronica, which is what her friends called her, was visiting a childhood friend, and she was now making her way back home. Taiwanese, like I said, she had learned English only 7 years ago, so some of the dialogue you may read is, a little choppy. She pulled her car off to the freeway in Monterey Park. That's a predominantly Asian community. Actually, let's go there now. 500 North Alhambra Road in Monterey Park. She didn't even make it home. So this is jumping straight into, and because it's the same day, it's 20 minutes later. This guy's going to keep going. So all the way over here, 500 North Alhambra Drive. That's not her home. This is just where she was at when she noticed, wait, is this dude effing following me? That's creepy. There's vans there. Is this dude following me? I mean, it's midnight and there are people out. In fact, there's a couple witnesses, but she's like, what the fuck? Is this dude seriously following me? She realizes it. And like I said, this neighborhood is predominantly Asian, so he didn't fit in at all. And what Richard Ramirez, now driving that stolen Toyota, realizes, and here's another crazy thing. I just thought of this. When the cops get there to the scene at Marie Hernandez's condo, condo. She's going to say, and all the neighbors are going to corroborate, this guy got into a blue Toyota, probably stolen, and she even got the last 3 of the license plate. They're looking for that car.
Right.
But he doesn't care.
No.
That's how
His lust is.
that's how risky
Yeah.
he is, man.
He has an addictive personality.
Sounds like
I would
it.
say so, yeah.
He is addicted to cocaine, all that stuff. He's like willing to take any sort of risk.
He did quit cocaine for a little bit.
Oh, good.
Just
I was going to say good for him.
just
but
because-
clearly that didn't last long.
Just because he was getting so risky and he was making mistakes, but that didn't last long. What Richard Ramirez didn't realize is that Veronica had a keen sense of her surroundings and noticed that stolen blue Toyota following her. She's driving around now looking for a police car. This isn't good because he can get caught. She couldn't find one, so she pulled over to the curb and she watched Richard Ramirez drive by her. At this point, he's just like, fucking God, bitch, whatever. Looking for a next victim. He's still ready to go. He's got to get back on the interstate. He's looking for his next victim. However, what he didn't know when he stopped at a red light on North Alhambra Avenue, he looked in his rearview mirror and now the roles are reversed. She's following him.
Oh, but I bet he is now enjoying that.
No, he's not. He's freaked out.
Oh.
Oh. So you don't like it when people do it to you, sir.
Yeah.
He jumps out of the car at a red light and walks over to her. She cracks her window and demands an answer. And I need to specify,
Dang.
this lady, she is very strong-willed, immigrant from Taiwan.
She ain't taking shit.
She's
Right.
a law student. She's not dealing with this, and she wants to know who this guy is and why he's following her.
I don't
Right.
have time for this on a Wednesday. I got a paper due. Fuck you.
He jumps out of the car. Veronica cracked the window and demanded an answer. Why are you following me? Wow, you just asked a serial killer. Like, he's off balance now. I'm not following you.
He's flustered.
She says, liar, I'm calling the police. Now he's trying to backtrack. I thought I knew you. I'm not following you.
Damn.
So she backs up a little bit and she starts getting the license plate number. She began to memorize it and she's going to the payphone to call the police.
Good call.
He moved closer to the car, a plan of abduction, sadistic sex, and murder crystallizing in his mind. Suddenly, he reached out and grabbed Veronica by the shoulders and tried to pull her right out of the car window. She began to scream.
This is in the middle of the street.
He's
Witness,
getting sloppy.
Yeah, for real.
very sloppy. This is the third murder. But let's say the second.
Attempted
second,
murder.
yeah.
Anyway.
Let's say the second.
Right.
Let's not. I'm not downplaying the Chinese immigrant that we talked about at all. But I'm saying this is
Canonical.
the one. Yeah, this is his second one or second or
Yeah.
third. Very early in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, very early.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
how many victims does he have? Or are we not sharing that yet?
I think I haven't finished the story, but I think 16.
Wow.
Dang.
Witnesses are out now, noticing him frantically trying the door handle of the car because she pulled herself back in. He can't get her out that window. He's not Arthur Shawcross. He's not going to pull her out. He tries to frantically get the door handle and it's locked.
Good call. Good job locking your doors. Because doors automatically lock now, but I don't think they did back then.
At this point, he vaults his lanky body across the hood. She noticed that he's going towards the passenger side, so she reaches over and tries to lock the door. Can she lock the door before he gets there?
Ooh, I'm intrigued.
Unfortunately, she was a little too late.
Oh, no.
Within a few seconds, he was in the car. She was screaming for help. What do you want? What do you want? Get out. She's screaming at the top of her lungs. She didn't even see that little barrel of that .22 gun, and she definitely didn't hear that gunshot because of all the franticness. From the state of California versus Richard Ramirez at approximately 11 p.m. 11 p.m. This is after the first one.
Right.
Jorge Gallegos was sitting in his truck with his girlfriend and heard two cars brake 20 feet behind his truck. Looking at his rear view mirror, Gallegos saw the man from the blue car lean into the window of the yellow car and try to pull the woman from the car. From the Night Stalker, he said nothing, just pulled out the 22 and shot her in the side, under the right arm, 17 inches from the top of her head. She opened the door to flee, and he shot her again in the lower back this time. She managed to get out of the car, lost a shoe, wobble a few feet, and fell into the street bleeding, dying. And this is what witnesses heard.
Help me, she wailed. Bitch, he said, laughing. He hurried to the Toyota, got in it, and drove to the freeway. He exited the freeway, got rid of the car, and took the bus back to downtown LA, envisioning himself a soldier of Satan's returning from battle with the infidels.
She's screaming, help me. He says, bitch, gets in the car and rides away, dumps the car. And that's it for tonight's murder.
Wow.
Did she live?
No, she dead.
Ugh.
Yeah, she died at the scene. She was shot twice. Yeah, she's dead.
Damn, she was a fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely strong-willed. And I get it too, you know. I mean, you don't know, has this guy been following you for months? I mean, I get it to confront him. It's very sad that a cop wasn't there or something at the time, but very sad. So, So he got two that one night.
Damn.
So what do you guys think? He's not really the Satanist killer right now. I mean, we're kind of starting slow. I will tell you.
But we did cover the elderly women that we covered the first episode. What were they then towards the end?
No, they're in the middle.
Okay.
It does get way more satanic. The next murder that we're doing, which we're going to do during the week, that
like the one in between.
No, that's the one that really starts the brutality and the hell Satanist, I guess, of who he is.
Wow.
Yeah. But I wanted to go kind of in order. I don't know.
Well, weirdly looking forward to learning more.
Right. Yeah. We're not looking forward to the fact that the people have been killed, but we are interested in the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did. I didn't mean it to say like that. Yes, she died at the scene. I didn't mean that in a way that's not like that. It was more of like, yeah, she's dead.
I mean, that sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. So the first shot, the medical examiner would say the first shot is the one that was the fatal shot.
Oh, wow.
But she was shot twice. I don't know. Nuts, right? Because it was right after. I mean, it's so sloppy. He dropped his hat. He let a witness go. She has a profile of his face. He is now getting into an altercation with another victim in the middle of the street with witnesses. Now, this is murder 3. Like, this is really early in the game.
There's a sketch of him out there. His AC/DC hat. Like, there are remnants left behind.
It's really early in the game.
But he was only out and about killing for about a year.
Yeah. Now,
so he did a lot of damage in a year.
Oh, yeah. Now, after this murder,
I see that he was a spree killer. He was just a spree killer that had a hard time getting caught.
I told you, right? It sounds more like a spree killer, which would keep killing until he gets caught.
Right.
But usually a spree killer will die at the end. That's the difference because they'll be in a shootout or something.
Like the DC snipers.
But I want to say, after this murder, he's going home. He starts to realize something that a lot of killers realize way, way early. But he realized that the act of killing is the ultimate high for him. Quote, he believed in his heart, the more heinous and vicious his assaults, the more Satan would be pleased and thus afford him his fiery blessings. So he kind of gets an entrepreneurial mindset at this point. He can make as much money as he wants. He's just got to start stealing from more prosperous households. So he starts to think, if I could steal enough money to get my own place somewhere way out there, way out in the boonies, I could possibly build some sort of death chamber dungeon, bring victims there, and kill in privacy. So he's actually, this is going through his mind now. He's starting to realize, hey, maybe this isn't the right way to do it. Maybe I should abduct, and instead of killing, abduct, bring them back to my house, and then have the privacy.
Kind of run this shit.